It's time for us to just kind of focus on our God and just to see what He has in plan for us. You see, we are in a world of technology, a world of communications. This is a technology that God Himself downloaded into the hearts of men, that we should use it for the good of our own existence. But before man was able to even use this technology, God already was performing His own functions of the technology. Because our God made us in His own image, in the likeness of Him, so that He can communicate with us. So that He can be able to let us know what is it that we need to do. What is it that we need to know? That when we do it, we know that it's God that is speaking to us. Right. So He already had that in plan, and He already had that functioning even before man was able to use this technology. All right, now. We all have our own internal communication with God. But sometimes we just ignore it because we don't even know that it exists. We don't even know that we have that one-on-one communication with God. Because He already gave it to us that we will be able to commune with Him, and He will be able to download onto our souls, our spirit, what we need to do and what we need not to do. But man has just thought that, I can do this by myself, and that we want to do things by our own self without focusing on what God is asking us to do. God speaks to every one of us every day. But in most cases, we only hear what we want to hear. Because those things that we want to hear makes us feel good. And because they make us feel good, those are the only things that we hear. But the key thing that He wants us to hear, we just feel that, maybe that's not for me. Or maybe we just cheat it off. He created us for a purpose. Unless we pay attention to Him, and when He's talking to us, we may not be able to find that purpose. And that is why we have to be very, very attentive and pay attention to what He's saying. That's right. Before, I thought I did know God a lot, enough. But I realized that, yes, I did to some extent, but I just wasn't paying attention to what He was telling me. And that was the reason why I did something that I did in the past, which I probably shouldn't have done. But when God now opened my eyes and opened my mind and opened my senses to know that, look, you need to pay attention to what I'm telling you. And that is when I started paying attention. I wouldn't have been able to hear anything. Why? Because I'm focusing on the things of this world that makes me feel good, and I'm not paying attention to what God is telling me to do. God's phone can ring in your heart anytime. Come on. When His phone rings in your heart, are you listening? His phone can ring in your heart in so many different ways. Come on. It can be through somebody just talking to you about something that you are doing that He wants you to know that it is wrong or you're not doing it well enough. It may be through a lecture. It may be through a sermon. It may be through dreams or visions. So God can speak to you in any way. But the thing is that we don't pay attention. And I just want to ask us today, the question is your phone ringing? Is your phone ringing? That is our special series for this time. We're going to have some of this series, maybe another 2 or 3 or 4, depends on how God leads. And we're going to see what God is telling us. Is God waking you up? Let us pray. Father God, this is your word, not mine. You have just put it in my spirit to share. It's not what I put together just to say I want to write something. Because before I even thought about this, I asked you, Lord. I said, God, I don't even know what to preach next time. And you gave me time. After a while, you showed it to me. You said, I should do this. And Father God, don't let it be me doing this. Let it be you doing it through me. Amen. Let it be you downloading your words through me. Amen. Let it be you that is directing me what to say. Amen. That I will not say things about myself. Amen. Or just things that I want to say, but I will say things that you want me to say. Amen. Father God, I just thank you. I worship you, Lord. Glory be to your name. Amen. Amen. Can you please turn with me to Ezekiel? We're going to read Ezekiel chapter 1, verse 1. We're going to jump from that. We're going to go to verse 28. And we're going to read the whole of chapter 2. Ezekiel chapter 1, verse 1 says, In my 30th year, in the 4th month of the 5th day, when I was among the exiles by the Kidron River, the heavens were opened, and I saw visions of God. That was in the verse 1. Before I go to more explanation, let's read verse 28. Verse 28 says, Like the appearance of a rainbow in the clouds on a rainy day, so was the radiance around him. This was the appearance of the likeness of the glory of the Lord. When I saw it, I fell face down, and I heard the voice of one speaking. I just want us to kind of note what happened in verse 1 when he got the call. What happened in verse 28 when he actually saw. And now let's read chapter 2, verse 1 to 10. In verse 1, chapter 2, he said to me, Son of man, stand up on your feet, and I will speak to you. As he spoke, the Spirit came into me and raised me to my feet, and I heard him speaking to me. He said, Son of man, I am sending you to the Israelites, to a rebellious nation that has rebelled against me. They and their ancestors have been in revolt against me to this very day. The people to whom I am sending you are obstinate and stubborn. Say to them, this is what the sovereign Lord says. And whether they listen or fail to listen, for they are a rebellious people, they will know that a prophet has been among them. Verse 6, And you, son of man, do not be afraid of them or their words. Do not be afraid. Though bears and tongues are all around you, and you live among scorpions, do not be afraid of what they say, or be terrified by them, though they are a rebellious people. Verse 7, You must speak my words to them, whether they listen or fail to listen, for they are rebellious. But you, son of man, listen to what I say to you. Do not rebel like that rebellious people. Open your mouth and eat what I give you. Then I looked, and I saw a hand stretched out to me. In it was a scroll, which he unrolled before me. On both sides of it were written words of lament and mourning and woe. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. In Ezekiel chapter 1, it talks about somebody, Ezekiel, who we don't even have a biography about him in the Bible, who is just a captive. You see, he was he was captured with the other people. And during that time of his own situation, he had God call him. You see, when we look at faith, when we look at the faith of Faith versus faith of Fate, we only know Ezekiel that he just lived in Babylon in about AD 593 BC with other Israelites. But we didn't hear anything about him until this time. But God used him in so many ways, through visions and dreams. Some of us find ourselves in some kind of situation, captivity, or whatever thing that we find ourselves. And then we just accept it the way it is. We just accept our FATE as the way it is. Instead of us focusing on God himself and just saying, God, I don't care what I am going through at this time, but I know that there is something that you want to come out of this. What is it that you want to come out of this? Just show it to me. I don't care about my current circumstances, but I just trust you because I know that whatever I'm going through now, there is something good that is about to come out from it. I just want to encourage us this morning that we should have faith in God. We should have faith in what he's doing and what he's about to do. In whatever circumstances we have to find ourselves, we should still have faith in God that God is going to take you beyond that. Amen. Don't let us accept our FATE faith. Because God doesn't want us to be down. No. He wants us to be up. When we are down, there's a test going on. Yeah. And God just wants us to go through that test. And when we pass that test, there's a testimony. Amen. Amen. So just be encouraged. Because in the case of Ezekiel, some Bible scholars taught him to be mentally deranged or stable person. They say, he hallucinated a lot. Simply just calling him a crazy man. They just say he's a crazy man. But some conservative scholars see Ezekiel as somebody who God is choosing, who hears from God, and who delivers God's messages to his people. They see him as a spokesman for God. They see him as somebody who is an ambassador for God to deliver his messages. So that is what happens to him. The kind of visions that Ezekiel was seeing at that time was so great that it will make you tremble. It will make you wake from your slumber. You're sleeping, you don't even know what's going on. You're going to wake up. If you have that kind of, you wake up. When you face situations like that, you wake up. There's nothing that can just stop you. You can't sit down there and say, I just want to accept whatever it is. He said, in verse 28, that it just described the appearance of God. You see, when God called him, the angel called him, he was describing the appearance like a rainbow in the rain. You see, just look at a rainbow. When it rains, there's some beautiful rain that rains and you see rainbow. From my understanding, I think rainbows have 7 colors. If I'm wrong, it's an elementary school thing. Forgive me. So, you see like a rainbow, on a rainy day. And you saw the radiance of that rainbow. He just said, this is like the glory of God. Amen. So, someone just told him there that, look, this is like the glory of God. That was Ezekiel responding when his phone was ringing. That was him responding to that call that he was getting. Some of us put our phone in vibrate. And then there is noise going on, you couldn't hear it vibrate. Some of us put our phone in silent. Even when it rings, you are looking at it, you don't even know it's ringing. Sometimes I get calls. And I just look at the number, I don't recognize the number. I say, who is this? I'm not picking it up. You know, some calls will come that could be important. And the way God speaks to us is like a call coming to you. It's like a phone ringing. And when that phone rings, are you picking it up? So, this was his phone ringing, and Ezekiel picked up that phone when he had it ringing. And while he picked up the phone, God commanded him and gave him instructions. When God needs your attention, it doesn't matter what you're doing. He will destabilize that thing that you are doing for you to pay attention to him. He will make sure he rattles you that you will just pick up that call. That's God. So God talked to Ezekiel and said, stand up and listen. So stand up and listen. You see, when God is about to give you instructions, he doesn't want you sleeping and just laying down, okay, God, I'm listening, and then you start snoring and you sleep off again. No. God will make you get up. Your situation has not got to that point where you know that you need God. That is when you just put your phone, your alarm on snooze. But when your alarm rings, and that call comes in, you know your situation needs that attention, you will wake up. God can call you in any situation. He can call you during your most happy moments. When you are so happy, everything is going good, and everything is happening for you, you just the man of town, you're the woman around, everybody's just going around you. God can call you there. Are you paying attention? It could be times when you are in your most vulnerable moment. God can call you at that time. You are so vulnerable. You're so dejected. You just feel that nothing is happening for you. Nothing is going on okay for you. And then your phone rings and you say, I don't even care about that call. When God is calling your attention, you have to pay attention to listen. Amen. Listening to God also depends on the state of our hearts. What did we recognize? Because if the state of our heart is telling us that nothing else matters, don't worry, just take it like that. When the call comes, we just take it like that. But if the state of our heart is like, you know what, I need to listen. Maybe that's for me. Maybe my situation is going to change. We have to be expectant anytime. Yes. We cannot settle for less. We have to be expectant all the time that God is about to do something. Ezekiel recognized the moment, and he seized the moment. While God was speaking to Ezekiel, he was lifted. The Spirit of God lifted him up on his feet. Because when God is speaking to you, the Spirit will lift you up. You will know that this is God speaking to me. God don't want you to just sit down like I said. When he speaks to us, he wants us to stand. He wants us to stand and be ready. Like when a general is calling on the soldiers, they don't sit down and say, okay, General, I'm listening to your instruction. They stand up and they say, yes. Obey the last order. So when God is commanding you, he doesn't expect you to just lay around and just say, okay, I'm sleeping, God, what are you saying? He wants you to get up and listen. Yes. Are you ready? Are you ready to listen to what God is telling you to do? God tells Ezekiel to go and speak to the people. That was his assignment, to go and speak to the people. That was a commission. That was the commission that God was giving to Ezekiel at that time. He said, go and speak to these people. He said, I know that these people are stubborn, they won't listen to you. Don't worry, either they listen to you or not, just speak. I want you to go to them and speak to them. Speak my words, and then let them take it or not. We have to remember that Ezekiel is a prophet.
Yes.
He was actually the first prophet in captivity. He is a prophet. And prophets don't see, they don't predict to you. A prophet will not predict to you and say, I predict this is going to happen to you, I predict that is going to happen to you. A true prophet hears from God messages for you. And when God speaks to that prophet to deliver the message to you, then you will know that this is a message from God. We should not despise any prophet, but we should just use our own spirit of discernment to know if it is God speaking. Because when God sends somebody to you, there are situations in your life that God will minister to you also, that you will know that this is God speaking to me.
Yes, yes.
Ezekiel is called. But it's not only Ezekiel that is called, we are also called. We are called to connect to people. We say we should connect to people to follow Jesus. That's our calling. And that is the commission that we got from God. We received that commission from God to go. God says, go, connect with people. Let them know who you are. And let them know who I am. Let them know that I reside in you. And I am taking care of your situation. That is the commission that we received. We should go. Now, he said to him, speak. God told Ezekiel, speak my words to these people. Just tell them what I have told you to tell them. Either they listen or they don't listen. You have done your own part. In chapter 2, verse 5, it says, and whether they listen or fail to listen, for they are rebellious people, they will know that a prophet has been among them. Because they will know it, but they just be so stubborn and they don't want to listen. When something starts to happen, then they know that, oh, we should have listened when God sent a message to us. The problem most of us have is that we are so afraid, especially people of us like who are called, God has called us to know Him, and we are afraid of going to people to tell them about God. We are afraid to tell people about what God has done for us. We are so concerned about what they will think about us. We are so concerned about what they will say. We are so concerned about how they're going to look at us. It doesn't matter how they look at us, it doesn't matter what they say, but we just have to do what God is asking us to do. Because when we profess God and we stand in the truth, they will see in us what we are doing, and they will know that truly this is a man sent from God. Our own job is just to do what God is asking us to do, and not to procrastinate. Just let them know who God is. Let them know who you serve. Let them know what benefit is there in for them. And leave God to do His own work. Amen. Because in His own due time, He will work in them and He will complete the work.
Amen. Hallelujah.
He says to him, open your mouth and eat. That's in chapter 2, verse 9 to 10. He said, then I looked and I saw a hand stretched out to me. In it was a scroll, which he unrolled before me. On both sides of it were written words of lament and mourning and woe. Lamentations, in this case, is just a discovery of sins. Sin is something that, can make people to get into situations in life that when they don't repent, and know that what I'm doing is wrong, and they continue, because the devil will be pushing. He will be pushing. Say, no, don't listen. Just do what is in your heart. Just do whatever you want to do. And then you think you're doing good. But when the situation arises, when great sorrow start to come, when grief start to come, when distress start to come, because all these things wait for those who have, no feelings. Yeah. People who don't even think that they don't have any shame, they don't have any regret to what they do. They just feel like they can do anything and nobody can correct them, nobody can tell them anything, nobody can make them to repent. They're so unrepentant. We have people like that, but we cannot just say we leave them to perish. We still have to try every time to be able to reach them. Because all the grief, sorrow, and woes, honestly, are with those people who are unrepentant. We don't want to be part of any of those people that are unrepentant. Because when we are unrepentant, we just telling God that I don't care about you. But God has so many precious promises for us. Out of the gospel. Those promises are for those people who repent and who believe. Yes. Because we have all sinned and fall short of the glory of God. Yeah. No one of us can stand and say, I am perfect all through. Even in our own salvation and sanctification, we still cannot claim that we are perfect. It is just God who perfects a man. Amen. So, the word of God in this case, that when he said, open your mouth and eat, it is the word of God that was laid out to Ezekiel. You see, the word of God, he fed himself with the word of God, and the word of God is like food. What food does to our physical body is what the word of God does to our soul. Amen. The word of God cleanses our souls. He makes us to know that we cannot depend on anything but his word. Amen. Where do we go to when we are facing situations in life? Where do we go to when things are not working the way we want it to work? Where do we go to when the enemy is at work? Because we don't have any power to do anything. Because we wrestle not against flesh and blood, not against principalities and powers. For we know that God that we serve, his word is there to protect us and to give us victory. The word of God is the center of our lives. It is the center of our lives. Because when we have that word in us, it's going to begin to redirect our situations. It's going to start to tell us, okay, we've been going this way. The word will tell us, no, don't go that way, go this way. The word of God is what makes us to live in order of God. And God is sending us out. He's sending us out to do things. He's sending us out to reach people. He's sending us out to minister to people. We have to have his word in our hearts. Because when we are ministering to people, we have to allow that food, the spiritual food that we are eating, just like Ezekiel had that word in his system, we have the word in our system. And we should just go ahead and do that. We should not be afraid. We should not be afraid at all. When your phone rings, you should not be afraid to pick up that phone. Because you don't know what is coming on that phone. You should not be afraid to stand up and listen to that call from God. You should not be afraid to go as God sent you. You should not be afraid to speak as God sent you. So do not be afraid. Very more importantly, We have to feed our soul with the Word of God. We have to feed our spirit with that Word of God. We have to make sure that at every time that we have the opportunity, that we go back to the Word and just find something in the Word that touches the situations we are going through in life. Obedience is the key. Are we obedient? Ezekiel was obedient to the call. That was why the Spirit of God raised him up on his feet to stand. When you are obedient, the Spirit of God will raise you up to stand. When you stand in anything you do, and God is asking you to do, you have to seek His face.
Yes.
Seek His face. Because that is the first thing we need to do. God, what are you telling me to do? I'm hearing this. Is that what you're telling me to do? Don't jump on the first instinct of what you feel in your spirit. Go back to God and ask Him, God, what is it exactly you're asking me to do? Pay attention to your spiritual phone.
Amen.
When that phone rings.
Yeah.
God may be calling you for an assignment.
Yeah.
He may be calling you for something that will bless your soul. He may be calling you for something that will save somebody else. Pay attention. Don't allow your sleep to turn into slumber. Wake up. Listen to Him. Pay attention to what He's asking you to do. I remember just about maybe 2 or 3 years ago, after God was telling me that I have to go according to what He has called me to do. There was this morning, I was sleeping and I can't tell if it's a trance, if it's a dream. And I just saw myself just in a cloud, just at a fast, like a flying saucer speed. I don't know where I was going. And I just got to the place, and there was worship and everything, and God was telling me, He said, I am sending you. He said, your work is to heal. He said, when anyone is going through anything, just speak the words to them. Just speak goodness to them. Speak healing to them. And also prophecies will be coming to pass. You know, to me it was so heavy. I couldn't contain it. I woke when I was just praying. I said, who am I? God can be calling you. God can be speaking to you. He can be sending you to do things. Pay attention when your phone rings. It's your phone ringing, pick it up, and God will speak with you. Amen. God will give you deep understanding to hear Him when He calls the phone of your heart. He will give you a willing heart to respond to the call, to stand up and listen. He will say to you what you need to hear. He will encourage your spirit to accept His command when He asks you to go. And He will prepare the way for you to succeed in life. In the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. Let us pray.